Hi there, welcome to I Won't Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Aquarius energy. And we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because not everyone harnesses high vibe Aquarius energy. Life's about learning lessons, and some people, are more about themselves. They could be prideful, egotistical, immature, bossy, controlling, just have lessons learned in life. And other people have learned more of those lessons in life. And they're going to harness this energy differently, and the decisions that they make in life are going to be different. So, and the truth is, we all tap into Aquarius energy based on kind of how we view the world, how we view ourselves, what our dreams are, our aspirations. And we're all looking to find people who are more on the same page as us. So, people who might be more have some more lessons learned in life. Their dreams and aspirations are going to be a little differently than other people's, right? And people are more high vibe are going to have different dreams and aspirations. We're all looking for people who are kind of on the same page as us. How we all, in our Aquarius energy, how we are similar or dissimilar. And we need to listen to our intuition about the different people in the world. Because kind of some shadowy, more immature people would definitely like to be in a relationship with a loving, nurturing person, for you to indulge them in their poor behavior. And you need to know the truth of that. And people can try to create an illusion that they're not a shadowy person so that they can get you in a relationship with them. And then hoping that even when because you love them, or because you took that job or gotten a more formal commitment with them, that you won't get out of it. So don't let yourself get trapped. Okay, so let's go see what's going on in Aquarius energy. We have seduction. We can all be seduced by things, right? And the reason it came out is because of the fish card. So the fish card being Pisces energy, some of you particularly could be dealing with a Pisces, but Pisces has to do with what we find emotionally fulfilling, and and kind of like Aquarius, our idea of the dream life. Some people keep getting seduced by their more immature nature, and they keep giving in to their more immature nature. We have our dualistic nature of free will. We can align with our more immature, shadowy nature, or we have good boundaries to ourselves, and we say, I'm not going to let my more immature, self-indulgent, prideful, egotistical, whatever nature keep running my life. I've got to grow up, and I have to learn to have good boundaries to myself. And the next set of cards, the reason they came out is because of the high honor card, which is Leo energy. We're either indulging our more egoic nature, or high vibe Leo energy is about having good boundaries within yourself to temper your more immature, beastly, egoic nature, to be inspired to act differently, to take different action in your life. That if I keep indulging my more immature nature, there's going to be other people in the world that are happy I do, because they do too. And then, if it doesn't keep working out the way I want, this card being like the Six of Wands comes after the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands can be, I'm aligned with the competition. you know, if I'm seduced by, I'm sure they'll change. I'm sure if I love them, they'll get out of their inner conflict. They'll be inspired to change. Because with the Six of Wands coming after the Five of Wands can be about change. And we'll all keep repeating an old pattern until we see the truth. Like, there could be things I like indulging in the world. If that's overeating, drinking, trying to change other people, not wanting to deal with my own inner conflict, wanting to stay in denial of the truth, I can keep repeating and indulging in some way of acting or believing. But the truth is what sets us free, and high vibe Leo energy is also represented by the sun. I can either deal with the truth, or I can keep staying in denial of the truth, keep indulging myself, not changing myself, maybe keep hoping other people will change. No, it's not me who needs to change, it's them who needs to change. And if we keep not dealing with the truth, it keeps causing us this inner conflict, which is what the Five of Wands talks about. I can keep trying to change others, or I can see the truth that the only person I can change is me. I can love people. I can be loving and encouraging to people. Those people might not have any interest of getting out of ways of living their life. If they're self-defensive, if they're immature, if they're prideful, if they're egotistical, if they're lazy, if they're bossy, if they're controlling, whatever. People have to be inspired within themselves to even want to change. And that's something we don't sometimes want to see the truth of. We can meet people and we can be attracted to them. Oh my gosh, this is someone I could move forward with. This is a person I do want to move forward with. This is a person I think I would look victorious and successful with. I think we're kind of on the same page, but we're kind of living in denial of the truth that kind of, if you're someone motivated by truth and love and growing and healing and maturing yourself, and say in Aquarius, shadowy Aquarius energy, someone else is more about themself or ego or image or materialism, the reason why you want to move forward in things and what drives and motivates you is different. You have competing, which is kind of the Five of Wands, you have competing goals and truths. And we can get in relationships with people like that. And sometimes, we all have these lessons learned in life, and we can meet people who, in a lot of ways, they do seem like us. They do seem driven and motivated by the same things we are. We do seem to have these common goals. But at a core foundational level, why some people do what they do isn't, I have hope and faith and belief in love, I have hope and belief in myself, or I, in high vibe Aquarius energy, look at life from a higher perspective. I think there's more to this world than just what the world tells me. And if your truth is, the most important thing to me is what the world tells me I should make my life about, which is either about myself or these things of the world. I should make my life about having a certain status or image, or I should be in a relationship because the world tells me if I'm in a relationship, then maybe I look more victorious and successful. You should only get in a relationship with someone because it's authentic and truthful, and, but other people, because they're more concerned with their ego and their image, can get in a relationship because of ego and image status purposes. And then it gets a whole kind of create an illusion because of your ego, and that causes a mess in your life, right? So we move forward in relationships with people, and in a lot of ways we can have a lot of commonality, but we come in contact with all these different people to help us get more clear about what our truth is and our truth isn't. And we also have to learn these lessons about who is being authentic and who's operating more from their ego, because we have to learn these lessons, because if we were to get what was really aligned with our truth, would someone be able to come in and steal it away from us, right? Because, like, the devil is about trying to steal things away from you. Other people who are in shadowy energy, tempting energy of some sort, malicious energy, don't have your best interests at heart. And if God were to give you your divine inheritance, if you still are naive and ignorant about these things and ways of the world and these type of people of the world, or you're still in that energy yourself, it's kind of like you could maybe look at it that the divine, with different people in the world, and those people in relationship with us, we had if everybody was willing to if we were on the same page, and it's not to say that everybody has to be on the same page, but all of those were opportunities for us to act with character and integrity and love and be authentic and be just and fair and treat other people the way we like to be treated. And if we find out we have different dreams, different ways of enjoying life or something, or things that we find emotionally fulfilling, we treat them the way we would like to be treated, right? But we all had some lessons to learn in that. We all could have been more in our ego, and we all could have gotten been more immature and impulsive at different times. Other people could have been, and sometimes we all acted out of ego, and things didn't go well, But as we keep growing and healing and maturing ourselves, you know, everybody who comes into our life is not someone we can have that was meant to be the person that we are meant to be in a relationship with, because what we do find emotionally fulfilling and victorious and what motivates and inspires us is different. But if we find the people who are more on the same page as us at the same time, there is the possibility. But then we have these cards, the courthouse and the playmate. And I kind of view the playmate as kind of like a knight of wands, which can be kind of like an immature player. We can all be tempted by things in the world to indulge ourselves in our ego. If we move forward in things, are we going to temper our more immature nature that might want to go repeat some poor past patterns and ways of being? And if we're in relationships with people, are we going to be able to maintain balance within ourselves, with the courthouse here showing the scales of justice, which is Libra energy? Some of you could have been dealing with the Libra energy, but with anybody, we have to decide, am I going to temper my more immature egoic nature? Because I've already probably been there and done that, and it probably didn't work out the way I wanted. And the reason that came out is because of the false person. Our more immature, shadowy, egoic energy doesn't want us to love and believe in ourselves, to get out of our more egoic nature, to offer love to ourselves. That I kind of use high vibe. Pisces energy is about loving yourself, to walk away from illusion and confusion and be more independent. High vibe Leo is about offering yourself love and compassion and forgiveness, to get more balance within yourself, to see the truth. You do have this dualistic nature, and so does everybody else. We were born with free will. We have the knowledge of good and evil within all of us. Some people have tempered their more immature egoic nature, and they maintain balance within themselves, and they temper their more shadowy nature of the playmate and the false person, because I've already lived my life like that, and I ended up getting in relationships with people who were happy I wasn't more balanced within myself, hadn't learned to love myself, wasn't more independent. Because then I got in relationships with them, and they kind of had these illusions about relationship, operated more from their ego, which I also could have been. And I was more immature and thought living life a certain way was going to make me happy. And I found out I got caught up in the illusion. Shadowy Pisces can be being caught up in the illusion. All these things I move forward in life that I thought was going to be just and fair, and was the just and fair and right way to live my life, and the world tells me I should make my life about these things, and if I do these things, or I act this way, or I'm in a relationship, or I get married, or blah blah blah, or I drink this or eat this, I'll be happy. And I kind of realized that we can be so caught up in pursuing these things that the world tells us we should make our life about, that instead of being inspired and seduced by our more high vibrational, creative, inspired nature, that, you know what, I'm going to be more independent in the world. I'm going to learn to love myself, get out of my own past pain, heartbreak, fear, insecurities, self-limiting beliefs to feel more confident within myself and more balanced within myself. Shadowy energy can be where I look outside of myself for the answer. And so I look to get in relationships to feel loved. I get in relationships to feel more balanced within myself. I get in relationships to look like I'm growing, healing, and maturing myself. And that would be more romantic relationships. But I can be in relationships with people and know people and not get in relationships with people more for those reasons, shadowy reasons, right? I'm going to stand in my truth, and if there's people in the world that I think seem to be more independent, more authentic, more inspired, more loving, because I've probably already gotten in relationships with people who weren't, and I could have gotten in relationships with people who were kind of being false and more immature players, and they weren't who they said they were, and they went and repeated some of these old patterns. I could have been in relationships at times where I wasn't had still had lessons to learn, and I hadn't healed and dealt with the truth of some of my inner conflict and past pain and heartbreak. And I don't want to be that type of person. I want to find, and I don't want to be in a relationship with people who are like that. Let's go look at these three cards that aren't showing themselves. We have half-truths, fulfillment, and clover. So, in our ego, and we all got lessons to learn in life about being illuminated to the truth. You know, we're caught up in the world, and again, the world can tell us, you should go do this and make your life about this, and this is what's most important, and if you do this, you'll be happy. So the fulfillment card kind of reminds me of the Pisces card of like Nine of Cups. If you go do these things, I suppose you could look at it, you know, maybe the nines, the Nine of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, the Nine of Swords. What is the next one? The Nine of Wands. You know, the nines are about where we could complete a cycle. And if we complete a cycle, which is like the tens, being illuminated to the truth, seeing where we need to detach from some old ways of being if we want justice, right? And part of getting justice is us growing up and healing and maturing ourselves, not repeating old patterns. You know, if you had been someone who kind of drove your life off into the ditch in some way, and you know what those things are and ways of being or thinking or acting or behaving that can drive your life off into the ditch, and you've already been there and you've done that. Well, if you're moving forward in life and you're kind of tempted to kind of repeat some of those old patterns that you know are most likely going to drive your life off into the ditch, why would you do that? And part of it could be because you're at the point of like having a breakthrough to live life differently, to complete a cycle. Talking about the nines here, if we keep being bold and brave and confident, we're going to get to the 10, and when we get to the tens and we work through that last phase, I have to keep being bold and brave and loving myself and believing in myself and maintaining balance within myself and not give in to my fear or my insecurity or my pride or my ego or my lust or my greed, just like everybody needs to do that at times in their life. I will have this breakthrough. I will have this new beginning. I will have this new inspiration. You know, I will have gotten to the other side. I will have made it through the storm, though I walk through the valley of death, you know? We go through these periods of life that are really challenging. And kind of it's like all to find out what we're going to do. Sometimes other people will do hurtful and unkind things because they don't want us. That's the direction we're headed, and they don't like it. So they see us doing this work here. We're trying to get over here. And that's when some people, when you're in relationship with them, don't like it, because it's one thing to be in relationship with you where they don't have to be authentic, more just, more fair, more balanced, more mature, treat you the way you treat them. You know, it's one thing to move forward with you hiding, and everybody could be hiding to some degree that they have these fears or insecurities about moving forward in life differently. It requires them to deal with some of their more being about themselves, their more self-indulgent nature, their more immature nature. We have to learn to work together with each other be more balanced within ourselves to be more balanced with others. And when someone sees that you're doing that work within yourself, and they know they won't be able to just do the illusion anymore, it would really require them to kind of walk the talk. That's when some people will do something kind of immature and shadowy to get you back kind of in this energy. I thought we were moving forward like this, but now you did something to repeat an old pattern. You're doing this. You're not continuing to be inspired to keep putting in work and effort to be just and fair and work through your fears or your insecurities or whatever to keep moving forward to have this new beginning. You go do this. So then it's trying to get you to kind of go back into that old energy. And it can be like chasing after someone, being in your competitive nature, being in your ego, being, it's kind of like, well, I love you. And we can have had to learn lessons about being more tipped out of balance in I love you. If we don't maintain balance within ourselves, I can love people and let them go live their life, and I'm going to maintain balance within myself. You go do you, and I'm going to keep moving forward, maintaining balance within myself. Because over here, looking ahead, we have the main female and the man, and that references Aries energy. The feminine figures can represent how we think and feel. The masculine figures can represent how we present ourselves in the world and how we're taking action in the world. High vibe Aries is I have learned these lessons in life, and I'm no longer letting myself be tipped out of balance where, oh my gosh, but I love them. Oh my gosh, but that would be good for my ego and my image or my materialistic nature or something. Their loyalty of like the doghouse, which says 11th house, which is, well, I don't have it written down. Let's see. I'm not into astrology and all that stuff that big to know those things. Let's see. I can narrow it down. I think it's, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn. Well, that's, unless I wrote something down wrong. Anyway, it might be Pisces. But we'll skip the zodiac sign. It's about loyalty. And the first thing that we didn't get, because we grow up in a world and we are kind of like social animals and we do like community and we benefit from community, but we have to learn to love ourselves in a balanced way where we're not prideful and egotistical and all about ourselves, where we're balanced between our feminine nature, our emotional, intuitive, creative, inspired nature, and then that's who we present ourselves as being in the world. And, loyal to kind of out of sweetheart love card to maintain balance within ourselves, because we know we can be deceived and manipulated emotionally. We know we could get caught up in ourselves where it's all about us. We want to be in relationships with other people, but it has to be loving. It has to be authentic. It has to be just and fair and, creative and inspired, but it's like maintaining balance within it, and each person has to maintain balance within themselves. And if other people haven't learned to maintain balance within themselves and they always kind of give in to maybe this illusion they could have in a relationship that, oh, well, no, well, these people love me and these people want to move forward with me and these people have a dream of me being in relationship with them. Oh no, I can act in these immature ways. They keep loving and encouraging me because they don't want to give up on the dream, and they always keep trying to maintain balance with me in a relationship. It's kind of great because I get to be kind of shadowy and maybe emotionally more bossy and controlling, and maybe the dog we could look at as kind of undisciplined then. But I'm with people that are very loving and nurturing, and they really could kind of be tipped out of balance. They want what they think is just and fair, and they think that is with me. So they keep trying to maintain balance in the relationship by kind of indulging me to get me hoping one day I'll change. But they keep not being illuminated to the truth that I'm not changing. And you're being just and fair, and I'm being immature. You're inspired more, whether you're male or female, by truth and love and justice and fairness. Shadowy energy of masculine, the cards, can mean that someone is operating more from their ego, whether they're male or female. And it's kind of an imbalance. Every relationship has to be balanced. There's either equal give and take, or one person can be more loving and giving and nurturing, and another person's more selfish or immature, and that person keeps indulging them in their poor behavior, hoping maybe one day it'll get more just and fair. Then other people, it can switch where some people want an imbalanced relationship. The shadowy person kind of wants to be indulged in their self-pity, poor, pitiful me, or ego or immaturity or whatever. And someone who's loving likes to view themselves as loving, so they put up with an imbalanced relationship. And sometimes people who are loving and nurturing have people who really try to lord over them and are very abusive, and they don't want that person to love and believe in themselves. And maybe it can go both ways. Loving people could feel like, well, I'm okay with it because it's this type of relationship. I'm like the loving, encouraging person, and I like being loving and encouraging. And, they have their issues that they deal with. But what you don't realize is it's someone who's in more shadowy energy, who you're not kind of growing to your full potential that you would if you were in a relationship with someone who is more on the same page as you. Because high vibe energy and high vibe Aries energy, represented by the Emperor, is being a good leader in your life and in the world, setting a good example. Any type of an imbalanced relationship is not a healthy relationship, because love is supposed to be where you treat each other the way you like to be treated. And there's love there and authenticity and being loving and encouraging and authentic and balanced and, creative and inspired and attracted to each other and to inspire and motivate each other to keep maintaining balance within yourself, because you want to grow to your full potential and you want to be in relationships with people who love and encourage you to grow to your full potential, just like you love and encourage them to grow to their full potential. Let's keep believing in our dreams. Let's keep, and there's some people again who like the more imbalanced relationship, and for you to be indulged, and then it is where maybe one person is the more emotionally nurturing person, male or female, and the other person gets to operate a little bit more from their ego. And some people that is kind of their idea of the dream relationship. You harness high vibe Leo energy, being loving and encouraging and supportive. I harness more shadowy Leo energy. I'm more about myself or ego or image or the world. And together, though, since you're loving and nurturing, I might be more about myself or my ego or my image. We both maybe get some of these things that we want in the world, but it's kind of, if people were to appreciate each other for what they bring to the table and realize that what the components you bring of love and inspiration and all of that are equally as important as what they bring to the table, which could be more status and ego and image, and realizing that, well, I think with you, whoever is, just that there has to be a balance. There has to be an appreciation for, otherwise it's a more transactional relationship, which makes me think of Taurus energy. This is going to bug me. I gotta look. Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Aries, Taurus, Cancer, Gemini, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. The 11th house here is Aquarius energy. The last one, the 12th one, would be Pisces. So you might know some people right now that could be moving forward in a way that really isn't aligned with their truth, but they could be operating more from their ego. If you know someone is more about ego and image, but they're trying to move forward in a relationship that makes them look like they're a more just and fair and balanced and loving person than they really are, that person is wearing a false mask. That's really not the truth of who they are, but they try to present themselves as being that type of person. Well, those type of people are always going to be tempted by either, if they really haven't healed from some past pain and heartbreak of people in their life that they're still kind of in their ego about. Sometimes people can be in their ego about people who they feel have a certain status or image in the world or standing or something, right? Or I that can be one thing, and if they meet people who have that certain image, status, or standing in the world, they really want those people to view them as that type of person. And so then they can get in other relationships to try to present themselves like they're that, like they have this certain position or standing in the world, because there's someone in their life that they want to have view them that way. So that's really sad, right? They're using other people to get, it's like social climbing. I'm getting in a relationship with someone to present myself as being more emotionally mature or stable or grounded or successful or victorious, just because I want someone else to view me that way, and then hoping if the opportunity ever comes up that I could go get in a relationship with someone who has that kind of position or standing or wealth or whatever, then I would go get in a relationship with them. So they're not people who really value people who are being authentic and loving and creative and inspired, because they're not, to a degree they are doing that within themselves, maybe to move forward in life to a degree and have some victory or success in their life, but they're still kind of maybe not integrated within themselves. The sixes can talk about, we work together cooperatively. And then in tarot, we can have people that are still juggling. And so it is like they're they present themselves as one way in the world, but emotionally they can feel a different way and is still kind of juggling and haven't really picked a path yet. And that is part of the process. It's just that other people have picked a path, high vibe or more worldly or shadowy. And there's other people that is like, you know, sometimes I don't like to be with the loving people. It can be great, but they require me to maintain more balance within myself and temper my more egoic nature or immature nature. So then I kind of get tired of hanging out with them, and then I want to go hang out with the people who are more about ego and image, and I get to be more in my ego and image, and whatever they kind of, or we like to indulge in, we make our life about that. I get to go indulge in it too, and I can still, by worldly standards, by the type of people I'm hanging out with, it kind of looks like I may be kind of victorious and successful. It's just that I was hanging around with more maybe tempered people. Could have been a lot of fun and all of that stuff. You know, life's about enjoying things in the world, but in a balanced way where you don't let it tip you out of balance. So everybody can be fun. It's just that some people are a little more about the ego or the image or the status of things, and other people are more authentically living their life and less about the ego or the image. And some people are kind of pulled between both, and you know, they still haven't decided, am I more caught up in the world or am I more about love? And while some of those people haven't decided, other people have moved on one way or the other. And then sometimes these people are stuck because they went to go get in relationships with more loving people. Those people are still maintaining balance and loving themselves. And if they wanted to be in a relationship with them in the Leo sun energy, they'd have to illuminate the truth about how they were maybe kind of immature or deceptive or manipulative in some way. So that can keep them away from those people. Then if they went and got in relationships with people that were more about the ego or the image or the status, well, those people could have wanted them to move forward with them and align with them. But then, you know, it's kind of like, well, I kind of like to hang out with you for these reasons, but, you know, I kind of like to go back and forth. And then maybe I want to go back and forth and hang out with the more loving, authentic people and encouraging people and not indulge in these things or being more about this. And those people saw the truth, and those people move forward with people in their life that are more about them. So then these people are kind of stuck wearing a false mask with either of the people they would maybe want to be in a relationship with. They would have to illuminate the truth, but they are hiding that they were kind of indulging. And they kind of thought that was just and fair, and kind of have some lessons to learn about indulging their ego. When you try to indulge, are a little more being more immature or self-indulgent, other people are going to move on. Some of the high vibe people, some of the worldly people, some of the shadowy people. And neither of any of those people could want to reconcile with some people. So then there's some people in the world now that are trying to find someone else to restart this whole process with all over again. And that's the free will choice they have all the time. So does everybody else. Am I going to keep moving forward, being inspired to maintain balance within myself? How about doing it for yourself? Not because you're trying to maintain a certain image or status in the world, or because of how it will benefit you, or how you can manipulate other people for it. You know, there's some people that just aren't even living their more authentic life because of the people that they're around. Well, those people wouldn't like it, so you know, I have to temper myself and wear this false mask and pretend that I view life the way they view it, but I don't. The whole thing is people should live their authentic life. They should get balance within themselves. not be going back and forth. Well, sometimes I let my more worldly egoic nature, and which could be my lust and my greed and my pride and my ego and my codependent nature, and then my more loving nature or intuitive nature kind of encourages me that, this is kind of immature or self-indulgent, and I should take action more from love and try to look at life from a higher perspective. I view the snake card as like Seven of Swords, which is Aquarius energy, but the card also says Scorpio, which can talk about our deep emotional attachments to things and people, and it can also talk about our dualistic black and white nature and ways of thinking. At what time are we ready to see that if we don't overcome some of these things that manipulate us, they're always going to manipulate us, and they're always going to be a roadblock kind of to us being who we were really meant to be. I kind of view this one as kind of like an Aries Taurus energy. When am I going to walk the talk? Because that is the truth of who I really am, instead of walking other people's philosophy of life because I want to be in a relationship with them. Because Taurus energy is about our philosophy of life, and the house card is like Aries energy of self. When am I going to do the work within myself to figure out what the hell my truth is? What is my truth? What is it that I find emotionally fulfilling, that I am willing to kind of like stand up for? This is my truth. Good, bad, or ugly. I am immature, thank you, yes. In comparison to other people, I might be immature, and I'm okay, and I'm going to live my life like that. I am more prideful and egotistical. Okay, so be it. That's my truth. I'm willing to stand up for it, or I mean, people have the free will to live their life whatever they want. I am more self-indulgent. I am more about, own the shit. Quit wearing a false mask. Quit, why live your life trying to hide who you are? Find the people who might initially think you're joking and laugh at you. You're so funny. And I was like, no, they're telling the truth. They really do think that way. But wouldn't it be nice if people really were who they said they were in the world? Then other people wouldn't get in relationships with people who are wearing a false mask. And then everybody can kind of feel deceived and manipulated. It's like, well, you weren't being authentic and honest. You still wanted to repeat some of these old patterns. You weren't motivated to move forward more with hope and faith and belief and love. You like a more imbalanced relationship. You like being more bossy or controlling or more about yourself. You didn't tell people, oh, by the way, I kind of like to be more about myself, and I'm kind of bossy and controlling, and it's really more about me, but if you want to move forward in a relationship with me and, kind of wear a false mask about acknowledging and seeing the truth that it is more about me or whatever, or I do make my life more about these things. But if you're willing to go along with it anyway, and it works for you, good for your ego and image, looks like you look victorious and successful, and you're willing to go along with it, But generally, those are unspoken things, right? People's intuition could tell them, I don't think this person, well, let's just leave it there. Goodness, Aquarius is air sign energy of the mind and looking at things differently, and I feel like I've done this video kind of differently than I've done other ones, and just seems more jumpy and hopping around. We're either looking for people to love us, and so we're always and probably not showing people that I haven't learned to love myself, which is why I could act bossy and controlling and self-centered or narcissistic and immature. And I also could have illusions about what it means to be in relationships. And some people are full of themselves, and some people do try to manipulate and control people to get them to do what they want in a relationship, and they're sure that's the way to go about it, because if you do love, you could get hurt, and some people don't want to see the truth that they live more from their mind than their heart. Other people have been in relationships with people like that, and they are people who are more loving. They do are more inspired by love. They want justice and fairness. They've gotten in relationships with people who that is not their truth. They have come out the other side doing this work within themselves to quit being in more codependent energy and looking to other people to validate their worth and value. And they did this work within themselves to free themselves. I'm going to give myself what I wish other people would have given me. I'm going to heal from past pain and heartbreak and people in my life and see the truth of everybody is where they were at. The people who are more just and fair and authentic and loving and encouraging were. The people who weren't. It is what it is. I'm not going to let it keep me up in my head or not know my worth and value or give up my dreams. People are where they are at. I am going to choose to be authentic and loving. I've learned valuable life lessons from these life experiences. I now know not everybody is motivated by love. Not everybody is balanced or just or fair. Some people are very immature, manipulative, self-centered, egotistical, bossy, controlling. And I see the truth of it. And now I'm going to go out in the world more balanced within myself, standing up for myself, taking these lessons that I've learned, protecting my more, in a healthy protection way, my more emotional nature. I'm going to go out in the world and be like the person I always was to a degree, where I'm loving and encouraging and treat other people the way I like to be treated. But I'm no longer going to get in relationships with people who off the bat, like I could have when I was younger, oh yeah, that person's immature and reckless or whatever. Oh my God, I'm so attracted to them. I'm not going to get in a relationship with them anymore. The people who more subtly show me that they're prideful or egotistical or whatever. Yeah, no. I've already loved the snake before, and I learned the lessons I was meant to learn from them. And they don't have my best interest for me to grow to my full potential because they're more about themselves and want someone to make their life more about them. How about you make your life about you? I'll make my life about me. Two independent people who come together in a relationship, and together we work together in a relationship, but I don't have to give up my independence, my dreams. You don't have to give up your independence, your dreams. We respect each other as individuals, and we work together on a common goal from love. And that's what high vibe people are looking for. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Aquarius energy that they might not see coming up? As you're moving forward, there's going to be people who know they can't do that, so they're going to leave their life. They might not want to tell the truth about why they didn't move forward with you. Some of those people will try to stop you if some of those people haven't already tried to stop you. Maybe they went to go indulge in something or living life a certain way. Now you're the loving person that they want to juggle, whether you're someone they were in a relationship with or you're the new loving person they want to juggle because they like to go back and forth. I think you kind of might be seduced emotionally, but because in your fire sign energy, we have a lot of Aries, we've been talking a lot of Leo, you're inspired more to not get tipped out of balance where you let your more maybe loving nature or things like that kind of manipulate you. You're more inspired to maintain balance and stand up for yourself and what you believe in. Because if you don't, other people will be happy you don't. And you'll get to know people to find out what drives and motivates them and what they think is just and fair. And if they are people who you think, yeah, no, I don't think we're on the same page, you'll move on from them. The people who are on the same page as you are people you'll move forward with. What's your dreams and your Aquarius energy? What drives and motivates you? Are you more bossy, controlling? You just get to know people to find out. Judgment, Two of Cups, Empress, the Devil card. And the reason is because of the Chariot and the Hierophant. Some of you could have dealt with people who you felt like harness this energy in a shadowy way. Cancer and Taurus energy, where people present themselves as being like emotionally stable, loving people who walk the talk and they're these pillars of society. But that wasn't really who they were. It's kind of more, you should move forward with me in a relationship. I want to give birth to the devil. Let's make our life about the world. You could be, they could view you as loving and they're more worldly focused and they think that's just and fair, but then the loving person isn't in a relationship with someone who's loving. You want to be in relationships with people whose philosophy of life is to walk the talk from a place of love. That love is what leads to their philosophy of life. And that's what you're doing within yourself, out of love, because love is the answer. Out of love, you are willing to hold yourself and other people accountable. The Two of Cups can represent soulmates in your life, significant people who came into your life and you came into their life to teach each other lessons. It can be your children, it can be your siblings, it can be parents, it can be close friends, it can be romantic interests. We all have these people in our life. They either want to move forward in a more emotionally balanced, loving nature, and then the devil can represent facing our fears. Let's move forward together in love, maintain our balance in love to not let the devil stop us. And the Chariot is about having victory over this more worldly foundation. And we've seen the truth, and it's love that helps us overcome our more worldly foundation, other people in the world who try to tempt us in our lust and our greed and our pride and our ego. I have people in my life that move forward with me in a just and fair and loving and balanced way that walk the talk. Together, we are going to overcome anything that comes our way. And we're going to overcome our own shadowy nature and take responsibility within ourselves for doing that within ourselves. And the devil can represent people that you're attracted to. And you would be what you are. Some people try to tempt you more with their things of the world. That would be a more shadowy Capricorn devil energy. Can't I confuse you about the truth of who I am by my looks and my sexuality or my charm or my charisma or my money? Isn't that what will make you move forward with me? And it's like, I'm looking for someone who has learned also how to love their shadow nature. The Empress energy in Libra Taurus energy can be about love. I've learned to love my shadowy nature. So my shadowy nature is like my sidekick, because we can't get rid of our shadow nature. We have a dualistic nature. Well, I'm not going to ignore and live an illusion that I don't have a shadow nature. I do. And I have to learn to work with my shadow nature, which can be like my more immature inner child nature. And I offer it love and encouragement to move forward with me. We have things we want to accomplish in the world. I know my shadow nature tries to tempt me to go about it in these certain ways. Because that's how it thinks, logics, and reasons. And I am going to offer it love and encouragement to temper itself, to work with me cooperatively. We have already been there and done that and tried that, and that didn't work out. So now we're going to try something different. We're going to temper our more fearful, insecure, and I'm not going to give in to you. And we are going to move forward in a more emotionally balanced, loving way, walking the talk, acting with character and integrity, and facing our fears, because we want to be in a relationship with other people who are like that. And if we want to be in a relationship with people who are like that, we need to do that within ourselves. So yeah, it's kind of like we in one vessel. And then as you're moving forward in that energy, you want to be in a relationship with people who are in that energy, people who've done that work within themselves, less out of Codependency. Well, I think you're the answer to my problems. Like, I am not the answer to your problems. You are the answer to your problems. Can we like each other, be attracted to each other, want to be in a relationship with each other? Yes. Have you worked through your past pain and heartbreak and fears and insecurities and prideful, egotistical, immature nature and learned to love it and self-discipline it and temper it? And if you have, then we can move forward together in a relationship because we've both put in work and effort to free ourselves from things that manipulate us to be inspired by working together more from love. What's coming up for people who harness a more shadowy Aquarius energy? The Eight of Swords and the Six of Cups. Why? Because of the Knight of Cups. Well, the people who keep living more from their mind than their heart and want to keep repeating some old patterns, keep having illusions about what it means to be in a relationship, they're going to have some people in their life who are going to move away from them. If you're up in your head about being in a deep, meaningful relationship and moving forward in love, so you're going to keep repeating this old pattern, other people are going to leave because they keep investing in living more from their mind than their heart, kind of wanting to repeat this old way of being because that's their comfort zone. And part of why they might want to stay in their comfort zone is maybe because they still have some unresolved issues about something in their past. And yeah, we shouldn't create an illusion we're ready to move forward in a new relationship if we're not. But some people do that over and over again. No, that didn't work. I might have been deceptive or manipulative or prideful or egotistical. Those people moved on. Oh my God, those people I was working with in a relationship moved on. Oh shit. Now I could be in a mental prison about getting in a relationship because I might be someone who's really controlled by my ego and my image, and I think it really says something about my ego and my image if I'm in a relationship. So I know if there's someone I think I can go get in a relationship with, I'll wear my false mask about why I'm getting in a relationship, but I want to look like I'm moving forward just like other people are moving forward, and then they get in another relationship that they shouldn't be in. But they might not be someone who, again, they're just caught up more in the illusion. Then they move forward in a relationship that's more of an illusion. And then they'd kind of maybe like to get out of it, but they've already created an illusion and tried to deceive people into thinking, oh my gosh, no, this is great and this is wonderful and oh my gosh, I love this person. And it can maybe feel like, they're deceiving people about the truth. Then, or they're people who live more from their mind than their heart. They want to stay repeating this pattern, but of course they create the illusion they're willing to move forward in life differently, but they're hiding the fact that, oh no, I have this certain way of being. And we have to keep doing this pattern. I don't ever step out of my comfort zone. I don't ever heal from my past pain and heartbreak, my fears and my insecurities. The world could manipulate me. People in my life could manipulate me. My ego, my immature nature could manipulate me. They got a lot of lessons to learn in life. And other people get in relationships with them. In a way, they could be like kind of seeming like loving, encouraging, just, fair people. It's just that they never plan to maybe be in a more deep, meaningful relationship because the Six of Cups is Scorpio energy, which can be about a more deep, meaningful relationship. It's kind of like with the fire sign energy that we were talking about here and the Pisces. Some people think if I'm in a relationship and I'm having sex with people and I'm enjoying myself having sex, that's love, right? And that's all the extent that they want to do it. I equate sex with love, and I don't want to see through the illusion of that. And that's how I think, and as long as that's how people think, that's how they think, and it will never become a more deep, meaningful relationship. Maybe where people are have a more deep, meaningful relationship, a more balanced relationship, because the other person really maybe just isn't very deep, and that shadowy Scorpio energy. They are kind of more emotionally shallow and superficial, like to create the illusion that, they have the same type of relationships as other people, but those people face their fears to do love, and these people want to keep repeating an old pattern. It looks like love, it quacks like love, all that, but it's really kind of creating an illusion. It's love, but it is more superficial and shallow, but it's good for their ego and their image. And, that's where they're at right now. And it makes them feel stable and balanced within themselves. If they were ready to live their life differently, they would. And so they're going to move forward with people who are probably on that same page of living life as they are. It's just it's just like being 15, being 18, 21, 25. We're all at different levels of emotional maturity and how we view ourselves, how we view the world. And some people are going to be in more emotionally mature relationships than some other people. It's just the way it is. And it's just and fair for people based on where they're at in life to kind of be in those type of relationships, because that's how they view life. And until they kind of realize, why do I keep repeating this pattern? Why don't I love and believe in myself and face my fears and become all I can be, and I move forward in life differently? Well, then they'll move forward in life differently. What's unjust and unfair is someone who knows they are more about themselves or emotionally shallow, superficial, materialistic, not love motivated, to try to get someone who's more motivated by truth and love and justice and fairness, trying to trap them in a relationship and trying to say that's the truth of who they are when they're not. And they could be someone who tries to control people in a relationship. Like, I like to present myself as this just and fair and loving person, and now that I got you in a relationship with me, maybe I'm going to try to keep you imprisoned and out of your own, either by being intimidating and controlling or abusive, that you'll stay in the relationship with me anyway. Or if I get you in the relationship or the marriage, because of your ego about getting out of it, conforming to the world more, that I have trapped someone in a relationship with me. Well, that's unjust and unfair, and it gets healthier and healthier, unhealthier as time goes by. And eventually the high vibe people, it's like, I can't keep living a life of illusion. And it's not just and fair. If I've been offering truth and love to the people, I've been an encouragement to work with me cooperatively, and they keep choosing to want to stay in denial of the truth and repeat these old patterns, then I wish you peace. You go repeat those old patterns with someone else. This is not my idea of the dream life, and I'm going to face my fears to move forward in life differently. Get a new friend, get a new job, get in a new romantic relationship when that's appropriate. Move forward in my life, in my job, in my career, but I'm not going to stay imprisoned because other people aren't on the same page as me or were immature. Even if I love them, I can have people in my life I love and I don't hang around because of the way they can choose to be in the world. I wish you peace and love. Yeah, I'm keeping my distance. And I'm not going to let it keep me in prison from working together with other people. And just because I've worked with people who are more bossy or controlling, that's not the truth of everyone. And I have learned that some people wear very good false masks. And now that I've learned that, I'm going to take that lesson with me as I move forward. I'm not going to let me give up my dreams. And that's what some people were hoping. If they're kind of more in shadowy energy or fear or insecurity, don't trust people, some people wanted to, the people that you were in a relationship with and the people that you were in a relationship with didn't want you to keep moving forward, loving and believing in yourself, because then maybe you wouldn't stay in a relationship with them. Or if you wanted them to do life differently, then they're going to try to hurt you to get you in shadowy energy. If they're kind of in shadowy energy, they want other people in shadowy energy. Some of them saw you wanted them to heal and grow and mature themselves. How dare you? Well, they're going to be deceptive and manipulative. They're going to go do these other things to hurt you and put you in this shadowy energy like them. And sure, for a while, does it put you in some shadowy energy? But you work through the emotional confusion. I thought these people were just and fair. I thought these people were authentic and loving. I thought just all these things that I thought about someone. Doesn't mean at one time they couldn't have been that, but at any time people can drive their life off into the ditch and they get caught up in being indulged in their ego, in their immature nature, caught up in other people that they could be codependent on, friends and family members, that if those people are like, you should move forward with that person, they're not willing to stand up for themselves, and then you realize they're not very independent people. They have all these things that manipulate them. So I think when we act in shadowy ways, we're kind of in a mental prison, because in the past we could have had people who were working together with us in love, and we didn't move forward with those people in love. And we can try to stay in denial of the truth, but we know we acted in immature, prideful, bossy, whatever, immature ways of being. I've had people, though, offer love and compassion to themselves. I've made mistakes in my life. Just because I've made mistakes in my life doesn't mean I have to keep making mistakes in my life. And I'm inspired to get more balance within themselves. And then, they quit being a more immature, shadowy person. The first 30, 40 years of our life, we're learning all these lessons in our life. And then they move forward and they overcome their fears and insecurities and they move forward in life differently. They grow up and mature themselves. Other people ahead of them had moved forward ahead of them. We offer ourselves love and compassion for being these fallible human beings who have lessons to learn. And the way we get out of being in a mental prison about people in our past who are still doing that is we wish them peace and love. We see also the truth of it. If you were a more balanced within yourself, you'd be more balanced with me. If you were a more just and fair person, you'd be more just and fair. If you were a more loving person, you'd be more loving. If you were more inspired by truth and love, you'd be that kind of person. And we just see the truth that they're not. And to our degree, we all have been there. Of course, for some people, you were in those ways of being when you were 15 and 18 and 21. But some of those people had some work to do then, but they didn't deal with those issues then. They could have focused on different issues in their life that they put more focus and attention on. Other people maybe throughout their life did more work within themselves to maintain more balance between thinking it was equally as important emotionally and in their thinking and their logic and their reasoning and their creative, inspired, and worldly nature, to kind of equally put work and effort into all of those aspects of themselves as they were going through life. Some people completely disregarded their more emotional nature. That's not important. I can use my emotions manipulatively. And they did not worked through their emotional feelings and nature since they've maybe been like 8, And then other people didn't put in any work and effort in their worldly nature of worldliness or stability or security in a way because they didn't think they had to or that wasn't important. So they've kind of got to start at the ground up getting more stability and security in their life, right? And, we all had ideas of the ways we viewed life. And partly it's because we've got our own challenges to deal with, and everybody's on their own journey. So Aries and the dog kind of reminds me of the Fool card, of course, together. We're all on our own journey. We all had our ideas. We've all got lessons to learn. And everybody has the free will to overcome their own unique challenges of things that kind of manipulate and deceive them within themselves and outside themselves. Some things that some people are tempted by and manipulated by, those don't tempt and manipulate other people. But you might have your own thing, and it really is kind of the same, like, well, I know I smoke, well, that's my issue to deal with, smoking cigarettes. Other people's, theirs might be something else, and each other can judge each other for it. But and then if it's hurt, you can go in the whole debate. But just understand, if you have, the more you know about things that have manipulated you, you can understand why other people are manipulated. You might not be in that place anymore. You see some other people are. And it can be a little bit of hell. So you wish them peace and you move on. You treat people with love and encouragement when you're around people. You act the way you like to act that makes you feel proud of yourself, or be the type of person you are. And that's what really could bother some people that were shadowy. You called judgment on them. You kept choosing to love and believe in yourself, and you keep moving forward. And some people were hoping they would get you in shadowy energy so you would come back and do the relationship the way they wanted. And you would be in a mental prison about loving and believing in yourself, wouldn't get over them, and then you'd move forward with this illusion. And you're like, if you're not being just and fair and truthful and authentic, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. And some of them, the only way they would be in a relationship with you is if you kind of don't make them probably reveal the truth. Or other people only want to be in a relationship as long as you're caught up in the illusion of who they are. If you see through the illusion of who they are and you see they are more shadowy, well, then they don't want to be in a relationship with you, because they only want to be in relationships with people who don't want to see through the illusion and indulge them in their illusion or their narcissism. So there you go. We'll leave it there, Aquarius. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.